Today I'll show you how to design and make my most favorite pair of trousers. Wide-legged, elasticated waistline, the most comfortable pair of culottes ever. What is different about today's video is that I'll show you every single step how I work. We're starting with the fabric. It's pre-washed, 100% cotton poplin, and I'll use my blocks to make a pattern. And today I won't even be making a paper pattern. I will draw it right away on the fabric. And now let's see how long it will take me to make this pair of trousers completely from scratch. Right now it's 10:38 in the morning. Let's see what time it is when I'm done. I have this cut of fabric. It's about 1.5 meters wide. First, I need to figure out if I can fit my pattern onto just the fold. I don't think so. I want quite wide trousers, so I might need 2 times the length. No. Okay, my pattern pieces, they don't fit because I need much more width for the culottes to be nice and flowy. So I will need double length. What length do I actually need? The tape measure and drop it down from my waistline. 95 centimeters. So if I cut 2 meters, I'll definitely be safe. And here's a trick for not all, but I would say most woven fabrics. Snip it on the selvage, the factory edge, cross the grain, and just rip it. One important thing about making this wide-legged culottes, you really want to use the flowy fabric, lightweight. This is 150 GSM. It has a nice drape. This is slightly different cotton poplin, but still it's very similar in its qualities and weight to that huge circular skirt I made recently. So when your fabric is too heavy and you make it with elasticated waistband, it does look too stiff, too bulky, so make sure your fabric is really lightweight. I'm really curious how long it takes to iron 2 meters. 10:50 on the clock. Time 10:55. It took me 5 minutes, so I don't want to hear any excuses why you don't pre-iron your fabric. And now let's do the bird's eye view when I show you how to draw a pattern right on the fabric. But first, the mandatory drama on the table. Okay, I'm gonna fold it in half. And if you're new here and you've never heard about custom pattern blocks, hi, my name is Liza Bennett. I am co-founder of Arkdefo, designer and educator. And this is exactly what we teach in our online clothes making courses. For most people who start their clothes making journey, the obvious path is to go and buy a ready-made pattern because somebody already designed it and you just follow the instructions and you make a garment. However, those ready-made patterns are based on some standard sets of measurements, and the majority of women don't fit the standards, which results into never-ending spiral of trying new patterns, getting so confused with the instructions, and not understanding why clothes don't fit you. And the answer is very simple. Those clothes can't fit you because they don't have you in them. So what we teach is how to make custom pattern blocks. So these blocks are basically a 2D copy of my body. These are my measurements, my posture, my imperfections, everything is in it. And I use these blocks to design any sewing pattern I want. In this case, the trousers, but same goes for tops and skirts. And these blocks are at the base of any sewing pattern. The difference being that when you actually make them based on your measurements, you can design sewing patterns that work for you. We teach all the steps from figuring out your personal style and understanding what garments work best for your body type to making the custom blocks and then turning them into sewing patterns for the garments that you want to design and to wear. Every single time you design a garment using these blocks, the garment always fits you. All our courses consist of pre-recorded video tutorials that you can watch at any time that suits you from anywhere in the world. Every single course is broken down into bite-sized lessons so you don't have this overwhelm on information. You learn step by step. If this sounds good, then follow the link below this video. We have courses for all levels, for complete beginners and for advanced makers alike. All right, so I'll start with the front. First thing I'm establishing is I'm finding my central crease line because this is my grain direction and this is crucial that this line is where it should be. I measure just from the edge. All I'm doing, I'm just drawing this line right away. Central line established, that's it. Here we go. I just align it. On the inner seam, nothing is changing. I will change the bottom a bit in a moment. Copy my crotch, nothing changes here. and then waistline until the crease, okay? I want to have a little fold in the front, so like a little pleat. I will have the pleat of, say, 20 centimeters wide, and I'm marking 20 centimeters from my line. And now I can take this first line, fold it, and match it with the second line, and put back my pattern. And continue the waistline. I completely ignore the dart. The pattern will be wider than what I need. Okay, I'm just going straight line. So from the hip, it's going to be a straight line down for my wide leg. The one thing I want to do here, I want to measure how much is it, so I can do the same on the back. And here on the inside, I will also make it just a straight line from the knee. When you're adjusting, the inner seam never touch this bit, right? We only do it from the knee down. I have not done the pockets yet, I'll do it later. Right now I can cut it as it is, folded. Now the back. On the back I don't really change much. Waistline, I draw it entirely and I ignore the darts. They are included in the length, but I'm not drawing them. Crotch line, unchanged. The inner seam along the thigh, unchanged. From the knee down, straight line. Until the hip line, unchanged, and then was about 6 centimeters down, so I do the same here, and just draw a straight line down. Next, pockets. So I take my extra fabric, have 4 pieces, 2 for the inner layer. I want to copy the shape of my side seam. And right away I can draw the shape, just do a straight line for the entry. Cut it off. So this corner, right, it replaces my corner of the trousers I just cut off. So visually, I'm like, right, what's the size of my pocket? Depth is good, but if it's too deep, your hand is not resting, so it's just falling down. And I do want to have support on the waistline, but this is way too much. That's perfect. So I cut it out. Now I take this as a base and copy to my other piece. Get back my offcut and cut it off here as well. This is the lining for my pockets. What is left is the waistband, but I'll do it later. So in terms of order, I will first do the pockets. Face side of both of my fronts, linings. A line here. First, I'll just connect them with a straight stitch. Many of you don't like ironing. You don't have to iron your garment ever again after you make it. But when you are making it, ironing is not optional. So first I just iron the stitch, right? And now I open it towards the seam allowance and iron again. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put an understitch. Understitch meaning that I'm connecting my pocket, right? This is the lining of the pocket to this seam allowances. Yeah, so that's all I did. Just stitch next to it. What's the purpose of it? You don't really have to do it. It just helps the pocket to fold inside a bit easier. You put a stitch in, you iron it. First, just as is, and then I fold it to the wrong side. You just want to make sure that your pocket aligns both with the top, with the waistline, right, and with your side seam. Fabric can move, that's okay. You have a superpower, super weapon. And another joy of working with natural fibers, you can correct so many things just by ironing them. So this is your right side, this is your wrong side with the pocket attached. So I'll go ahead and I'll put one more top stitch here on the pocket entrance, and that's it. Also hide all the seam allowances, so we create nice and beautiful kind of French seam and nothing will be showing up. So here's what I have on the right side of my pocket. Here is the wrong side and all the insides are hidden a little bit. Here poking out, not a problem. Now I take my second part of the pocket and I align it with the side seam and with the pocket and with the waistline. I just pin the curve of the pocket, so I'm not touching side seam. I have an overlocker and I'll be using it. If you don't, you can do it with a straight stitch and then you can zigzag the edges to prevent fraying. You can add the bias tape, whatever makes you happy. I just pick up the pocket and only this curve I overlock. And guess what? We're ironing again. Now, this was basically the hardest part of it all, and it was so easy, right? The one thing I want to do before I continue, I want to fix my pockets in place. So I'll just pin them to the side seam and just put a quick straight stitch just to lock it in place. And same on the top, the waist, so that my trouser part and the pocket, they become one detail and nothing is flopping and getting on the way. Also, I know that it's a bit difficult to follow when the garment is like the same color, especially darker color. That's why in our courses we actually use contrasting fabrics so that you can see details in a different color each side and it's easier to follow. Here we go. This is now one piece and I don't have to worry about pocket flopping over, but you know the drill. And now, right away, what I can do, I can fold my pleat. It was 20 centimeters. And then I go and just check with my pattern. I just realized I made a little mistake. So at the moment, my measurements altogether come to 100 centimeters for this new waistline. And I need a bit more because my hip's about 110. I'll make the pleat a bit smaller. I'll pin it on one half and then do the same on the other half. Same with the pleat, I put a quick straight stitch here so it stays together and then I iron it and then we continue with putting trousers together. So here's my front. I did not iron the pleat, I only iron it a bit on the top. So I just pin in a seam and out a seam. And I will just go and overlock each side. I think my most favorite part about an industrial overlocker is this slide for the spaghetti offcuts. See, it cuts it and then goes straight into the slide and then lands in the bin. Yes, again. By the way, the time is 12:36. So I have 2 trouser legs stitched in a seam, out a seam. And now I will obviously iron my seams and then turn inside out and do the same from the face side. And really quickly do one more thing with the pocket. I go to the side seam. I want to stitch, like to put a few stitches over here, just something like this, just to fix this bottom of the pocket in place and kind of make it a bit stronger, because this is a lot of action here, right, with your hand in all the time. Extra security for your pocket to stay in place. The last part is to connect the crotches, right leg, left leg, and I'm on the face side, so I want to find my inner seams, right, the crotch bits, and match them from the face side. Pin. And now from the center, I can connect back and front. This crotch line, right, from center back to center front, the curve, this is the only one that needs a bit of reinforcement. Why? Because you sit down, you lift up your legs, going up the stairs, whatever. And this one has the most stress to it, unlike the other seams. They just like hanging. But this curve in the crotch line is doing all the heavy work. I will first connect these details with a straight stitch, and then right on top of that straight stitch, I'm going to put another one. And then I will overlock the edges. So I'll connect my halves, iron them, and we'll meet after lunch to finish off the hemlines and add the waistband. Okay, so back from lunch, 13:38. The trousers are taking shape, fully connected. 2 stitches, one inside another, and then overlocked. My waist is here, and they're much bigger than my waist. But that's the point, because they're big enough for my hips. I need to go through them. Unlike the skirt, for example, I can't put the trousers through my head. The length of the waistline is at least my hip circumference, right? So now we're going to measure it. 117, that's perfect. The waistband is just a long strip. Now, how wide should my waistband be? It depends on the elastic. It's 5 centimeters, so I'll make the waistband at least 5.5 to allow space to get it in, because it's doubled over. 5.5 for elastic, double it over, it's 11. Plus, I need about 1 centimeter on each side for the seam allowances. I'll still do centimeter, so 13 centimeters, the overall width. And now I need to measure 59. Half of that waist. with seam allowance. That's it. That's my waistband. I'm not interfacing it because I have elastic and it will work as a extra support. Now I will go and I'm gonna iron it in half this way, and then also in half this way so that I can mark the center front, because I want to make little holes to insert the lace later. Yeah, so that's what I got, and that's my middle. It's just really handy. Now I need to decide where I want to position my little openings. First of all, about 1 centimeter here is my seam allowance taken away. Then what I have left, 5 and a bit centimeters, I will be adding 2 top stitches to keep elastic in place. There's no science behind this, it's just I measure this way. It looks more or less equal. My stitches will be going this way. So I want to insert my lace here so that I'm not making the hole and it's going through this top stitch. It needs to be in between and it will be here in the middle. Option 1, you can just do the buttonholes. I can't be bothered with getting out the other sewing machine. I'll do other way. Take a little offcut and I will make facings. So this is from the face side. Let's make it equal distance. So I draw this to see it. Say 1.5 centimeters, 2 centimeter opening, something like this. I just pin this little facings, go to the machine and stitch these rectangular shapes. Stitched and of course ironed. And now stitch unpicker very carefully. Little opening, and now kind of little diagonal from here to the corner. And the goal is to turn the little facings to the other side. So these are basically tiny cutouts and press really nicely. There you have it. Nice and tidy. Both openings are done. And there's one more thing I want to do. If I just insert elastic, I will have white elastic visible. I will create like a little shield, right, with this offcut, because I don't want extra seams, right? Once I fix elastic in place, this shield will also be fixed in place with the same stitches. So one option is to pin it, but then I'm going to have pins on the way. So instead, I will just quickly hand stitch it. Once the elastic is inside, it's not visible. Once these lines are stitched, I can thread my lace under there and it will appear here and will look nice without the ugly white elastic. So that's the prep work done. Now I close my waistband like this, short way, and then I iron it open and close back again. Yeah, so that's it. That's my waistband ready. I will go and attach it to my trousers. So I align this middle line with my middle seam and pin it. I go to the back, again, middle seam, align them, and now just pin the entire circumference. And now I will connect my waistband to my trousers with a straight stitch, but I will leave about 5 centimeters untouched on the back so that I can insert elastic. Now the waistband is attached. Obviously, right now I'm gonna go and iron it, and here, as promised, is a little opening I will use to insert elastic in, and then I'll finish the seam. How do I decide how much elastic do I need for these trousers? I really enjoy breathing in my clothes. I basically just put it around my waist, and that's how much I want it. Once you wash it, elastic can shrink a little bit. After I stitch it, I have 2 rows of stitches, right, connecting elastic to the waistband. This action alone makes the fit of the elastic a little bit tighter. I just put it around my waist, double check, can I fit through the hips? Yes, I can. Plus overlapping for the stitching of it, right, about 2 centimeters. That's how much I have. And now we're gonna insert it. Let me find the special little thing. I have no idea how it's called, but it's super helpful for inserting wider elastics. Here is the thing. I have no idea how it's called. If you know, let us all know in the comments. It just holds it in place because it has kind of teeth in it. overlap and safety pin it. And before I stitch anything, this is the time to try my trousers on and see how I feel. This is extremely comfortable, but it's too comfortable in a way that there's too much space. So the elastic doesn't sit around my waist at all. I need it to be a little bit tighter. So what I'm gonna do, go back to the safety pin and move it a bit more overlapping and see how it looks. I actually overlapped it a lot more. It's closer to my body, but it's not too tight. I'm happy. Now I can stitch the elastic. How are we doing for time? It's 15:15, 3:15. That's what I got, just one basically rectangular square, whatever. Okay, so I reconnected that little opening and also overlocked right away. So now my waistband is officially attached. Next step is to put those top stitches. So once I made sure that the elastic is even, I will pin it on the back, on the front, and on the sides. This will help me put the elasticated waistband under the sewing machine and to stretch only these little areas. So I go on the machine, I stretch it, it's pinned so it doesn't move. Otherwise, I'm risking that my elastic is moving too much towards one or other direction, and this way it's fixed in place. So this is from the center back to the side seam. I stretch it. I just put a straight stitch. And I keep stretching it all the way. If you have a setting in your machine where you can automatically leave the needle in, that's super helpful. If not, then make sure that your needle is inside. Now again, I grab it and stretch it. The last two things left is to insert the lace into these holes. I will overlock the hemlines and fold them in and straight stitch them. There's a church bell outside that just dinged 4 o'clock. So technically the trousers were ready before 4, but I want to have clear data, including the lace. Basically folded 2 edges to the side and now fold them in half and stitch. That's how I do it. Long straight stitch, the last one. Okay, so the lace is stitched now. It's 4:03. Safety pin, not my favorite way because sometimes they open, but I don't have anything better right now. There we go. Let's push it through. We started more or less at 11 and now it's just a little bit after 4, so it's 5 hours, right? And in these 5 hours, I had to stop for half an hour to export the footage to my computer. There was lunch, also about half an hour. 1 hour easy out. We left with 4 hours. Because of filming, I would say divide by 2, or even let's say 3 hours from scratch. I think if you just sit down, put your mind to it, 3 hours and you can have this trousers done. And if you have similar color fabric so that you don't have to change the thread, you can make a few pairs of trousers at the same time. If you batch it, you maybe will spend 1 hour extra, but then in 4 hours you'll have 2 or 3 pairs. The lace is inside. And done. Trousers are ready. Time 16:17. So now let's try them on. And here are my brand new culottes. I'm absolutely in love. I love the drape of the fabric. I love the shape. I absolutely adore the pockets. They are nice and comfortable, exactly how they should be. Quick remark, if you're looking for deep pockets in your trousers or skirts, you can't be making something tightly fitted because it just doesn't work. If you want comfortable pockets, you need space between the garment and your body. And that's really it. It's been quite a long day. I'm losing my voice a little bit. Thank you so much for staying through the entire video. I really appreciate it. If you found it helpful, if you enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Stay creative and I'll see you next time.